Hi everyone. Okay, in this video, I'm going to take you through how to take an image that we're using in TwinCAT Vision and put it onto TwinCAT HMI. Common thing that we'll need to do. So maybe you've just captured it from the camera, you want to show it, or maybe you've actually drawn over your images and now it's time to show the user. So just going to drop into some live coding on this one. I've just set up a small project, just a little bit in advance. And what I'm going to use is this FBVN read image, only because I don't want to set up an image pool in this instance. I haven't got a camera connected at the moment. So I thought, well, why not just show another function block? And all this thing does, this is actually one of the few function blocks of TwinCAT Vision at this time. So obviously the one that we know and love so far, which is acquiring from a camera, your simple camera control. FB read image, it just means that we can say, yeah, please read an image for me, take it off the hard drive. Here's the path that I'm actually going to read it from, and when you've grabbed it, when you've done your work, put it in IP image in, which is just a ITCVN image. We're only triggering it the once. We've got a little timeout in there, and then we've just got this little thing here that says if the function block's busy or if it's got an error, just return out. So that's me done. So it just means anywhere underneath this line here means I'll only ever get to this point of the code if everything was successful. So there we go. The other thing as well, I suppose I could do is maybe want to just double check to just make sure that there's an actual image in there. That's obviously another common one. So we can say if the image in is equal to 0, because it's an interface, and interfaces when they're unset are set as 0. So again, if we just do something like that, return. And we'd return out at that point there. So if it's equal to 0, we're just returning as well. So at that point there, we're only ever going to hit this point of the code if everything was successful. Now, pushing things up into the HMI, we have to take one step first, and that's going to be, we've got a couple of functions that will help us with this. FVN copy into displayable image. Now, this is the first one. It's going to take IP source image, so it's going to take an image, so we can use our image that we've got here. And it needs a destination image. It's actually going to form this up. It slightly changes the way, it's just going to process the image so it is something displayable. And so we end up with a brand new image out of this. So what we need to do is pass it somewhere where it can show this, hold this displayable image. So I'm just going to copy this off of Infosys here. I've actually got Infosys just off on the side here that you can't see. I do find, well, especially with TwinCAT Vision, you are going to spend most of your time with Infosys open because this is the main way of seeing every function that we've got available. So so this is one I'm just borrowing from at the moment, and what I'm going to do is just put it up here. We're not doing a reference to, that's where it takes it in. I just copied that off of the input arguments for this function. So we'll just say that my IP destination image is this displayable image. So displayable images can be either viewed via the ADS image watch, which I'll show next, or can be sent up to TwinCAT HMI. So, excuse me. I will just put a result in here as well, because just in case we build up on this on a later video. So this is just a H result. If anyone's seen my previous videos, you know how. Don't worry about tabbing. Tab, 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 tab. Don't worry about it. Just leave them like this. I won't start. It's just, I see a lot of code, and I see a lot of people spend a lot of time tabbing out their thing, so they're all nice and in line, and then some of us have got different fonts, and I can tell you've all made it look nice, but it doesn't look nice on mine, and may as well just use spaces and move on and do some coding. Continue with coding. So I'm just going to pass in HR previous on here. HR previous at the moment isn't set, so that's just going to be success by default. And we'll just do this one too. Okay, right. That's so far so good. So that's going to just copy into the displayable image. Now, what this does, it truly does copy. So it preserves the original image that we received here. So if we're doing any further manipulation of this image, that still exists. We can still utilize that interface as well. There is a slightly more performant, although copy into displayable images is fairly performant anyway. And I think it was called, let me just have I think it's called convert. I was going to say convert. There's going to be another one. Let's just, there we go, transform. Let's just move this across. So there is the other one as well, transform into displayable image. Now that really that's the most performant of the two, because what we're saying there is actually take the image that I'm currently working with and transform it into displayable, which means it's actually going to destroy the original. So the original won't be available anymore because you've transformed it. You've just taken that memory out, just moved it somewhere else and turned it into something displayable. Copy, on the other hand, still preserves your original. So there we go. Okay. So we can have a little look and see if that works now. That should be enough just to get us up and running. So I'm just going to log in with downloads, always safest when we're... there we go. We've got errors in our code generation. Let's just put a interline there. Just make sure. Let's just have a quick look at my error list just in case. There we go. I was just moaning that I'd missed that end of line character. There we go. Hit play on that. And we should now be able to say, always going to the wrong one of this one. So it's TwinCAT window, ADS image watch is what I'm going to use. So that's up on my other screen over here. And we can just, it's found that, and there we go. We've got the TwinCAT new cubes icon. So far so good. Right, now we need to do the final step, which is why you're watching this video, is how do we push this into TwinCAT HMI? So I've just put a TwinCAT HMI project into here. That's all I've done, nothing else. I'm just going to log off of that just to make things easier. So by default, we've just got our desktop view, nothing else going on. Now, the thing that allows us to view images is just the, I think that we call it the, I'm just going to say the image box. It's just going to be a image. There we go. So it's just called an image. Just going to drag that on, but we can't use it straight away. So there's a step we need to take first, and that step is right-click on references and say Manage Nuget packages. So because it's a package that we bring in that allows us to show TwinCAT Vision images. So just scroll down, just make sure you're on Browse, make sure that TCHMI customer, okay, it knows mine. So if you do official, what that'll do is you'll actually look online for these. The customer ones just means if I've got it local to my PC, you'll search there instead. So we can go into official and we can just go down the latest version of this HMI Vision. We just hit download. And we're just going to hit OK. That's going to make changes to our project. And there we go. We now see this TCHMI Vision. It's just starting to come in. And so far, so good. So we can just move that out of the way. Oh, still doing its thing. Okay, so I'm just going to save on there. So that should give us some more options now. So things that we can do. I'm just going to drag this across again. I'll just hit the little C button on the side just to open the server configuration. Actually, that's going to dock itself now. So let's just move that over and shut that window. Okay, so that's the HMI configuration just by pressing that little C button. So so what we can see here is where we originally had ADS, and this is where we go off hunting for these ADS symbols that we normally bring into TwinCAT HMI. What we need to do is we're actually going to be working in this one instead, this TCHMI Vision. So because we've installed the extension, which means now the extension is going to look after this for us. So and what we can see here is the minute we it's already found we have a displayable image, and we can ask it how is it going to try and bring that up and also push that out onto the screen. So with this one, I'm going to say that I want to map the PNG version of that. So ideal really, whenever you're working web-based stuff, pings are generally a good format to use. So they have compression, but they're lossless compression, I think, from what I understand of a ping, unlike a JPEG where you get artifacts and things on them. So, so what I've done there is just right-clicked and said map to symbol, and now we can go back on our desktop view, back into our image box, and I'm just going to say properties. And the source of this, if I just open up the source, sorry, I'm not going to click on the source, we have to just move that out slightly. We're doing a binding, so we're actually going to bind something to it. That's the typical way we do it when we're binding variables. I'm going to create a data binding. We would use source had we have just been using a standard image. And what we can see here is it's actually found, because we're in map symbols, obviously we could have done it via server symbols. Had we not mapped it previously, we could have just mapped it ourselves in here. But because I've got it in map symbols, it's living here as a ping. I can just OK that now. Drop those properties out of the way, and I'm just going to open up a live view. And wherever my live view is going to start. camera view starts on the other screen. Just move it over here, and there you see it. We've got our image successfully coming across. So I'm just going to resize that just to complete the video. Just going to make this slightly bigger so it all looks nice. And that's it, as simple as that. So it's the extension that does all the work. Just make sure you add the extension. Once you've added the extension, use an image component. We're not going to use the source. We're going to right click and say binding. And then if you've pre-mapped it already using that configuration step that I did before, you just pick the one that you want. Otherwise, you could have just gone into server symbols, vision, find the image that you want, pick the type of how it's going to bring it up, and then we're good to go. All right. So I hope that's helped you all out. Speak to you all soon.